The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WinBet. WinBet is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same game parlays to live in-game odds, WinBet is what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100 and get $100 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET. State restrictions apply. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really real villain, real Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. A little bit of a delayed start today, but no worries. We got my guy Scott Studio Shell with me. Scott, what's going on?
Yeah, nothing much. Looking forward to going through today's card. I know yesterday was a pretty interesting card in the NBA. You had, two games on TV. Both of them were really, really good. The Boston game against Golden State, which turned out to be a fun one. Not sure what Marcus Smart was doing in overtime, but we can talk about that maybe in a second. And then you had an awful game for about 3 quarters, and then the Nets made the game competitive. They lost the game anyway. Anything stick out to you yesterday? Because both TV games were actually good for once.
Yeah, I think that Golden State's thing is they're very, very injured. And so everybody that they had with size is out. When you talk about Kuminga, who has a lot of size to him, Wiseman, of course, and Wiseman is still like, we're trying to see and make sure that he pans out and he works. But I feel like you can only get that with reps, and he's not getting the reps right now because he's always hurt. So I'm interested to see what Golden State, but they put up a hell of an effort, They got the cover. They covered the opening line. The line opened up at 5 and then got bet up all the way to 7 before game time. And I'm just hammering Golden State, and as it goes up, I'm hammering Golden State again because I'm like, I understand they're bad on the road, but I just don't think that on a nationally televised game where the public is on Boston, that Golden State knows that they struggle on the road and they were going to come out flat, and they didn't. They came out there ready to go. So really, really fun game in that one.
Yeah, I liked Golden State as well in that one. I thought that the spread was a bit too high. I understand you could argue Boston wanted to get revenge and they were at home. Until yesterday, Golden State really had their number. And in reality, Golden State probably should have won the game because Jaylen Brown was awful the entire game and then hit.
He woke up literally 2 minutes till the end of the fourth quarter and overtime is when he woke up.
Yeah, and he hit the game-tying 3 in the last minute, and then he ended up helping to take over overtime. But, I mean, Golden State is a good defensive possession away from winning the game, and instead Jaylen Brown hit the shot. Horrible final possession by Curry. I don't know what that was at the end of regulation, but it was a terrible possession. Good defense by Horford.
I can't even say it's a terrible possession because we've seen him hit that kind of shot so many times that it's just like, I think that what was a good adjustment by Boston was Al Horford and his on-ball defense of Steph Curry. Like, there was multiple times where he got switched on to Steph Curry, and he defended him really, really well, including that last possession. So all kudos to Al Horford and his effort that he put in that game.
Horford did a great job defensively, but I know Curry's Curry. It was a bad possession. If your possession if I can envision that same possession happening to Julius Randle in the final 2 minutes.
No, but Julius Randle doesn't do that. Julius Randle doesn't do that on a regular though. If Steph Curry does that, he hits that probably 7-8 times out of 10. Like, you can't get too mad at it because it's a shot that he works on. It's a shot that he makes, and it was just a larger defender that played really, really good defense.
I don't know. I understand that he can make that shot, but maybe I'm just old school that way.
I think it's a bad possession for 90% of the league, not him.
It's a tie game. You get the ball in your hands with 20 seconds to go. You do nothing until the final 2 seconds of the clock, which results in a rushed step-back fadeaway 3. I thought it was a bad possession. I know you're Curry. I know that you can hit all these shots, but when you do nothing for about 18 seconds out of 20, and then you settle for a pretty awful shot in terms of level of difficulty for the average person.
That's it. That's the word right there.
I think you could have gotten a better shot. That's all I'm saying.
I live with it. I'll live with that shot.
Maybe it's just me not being a fan of 3-pointers in tie games, which I know is kind of going out the window, but I thought it was a bad possession. That's all I'm going to say. I thought they could have done a lot more. They forced a switch first of all, they chose to get the Horford switch because they sent
Mhm.
Draymond to set the screen. I'm not sure if I agree with that move. I think they could have tried to get somebody else to switch on to him. I don't know. I just thought that it wasn't a great possession. I thought they could have done more with it. And then,
I'm actually surprised to hear that from you because you're such a I prefer my best player to take the final shot kind of guy.
oh, I wanted Curry to shoot the ball. I just feel like it was so rushed at the end, and the spacing was off on the final possession because it wasn't even just Horford. Because he went to the wing, you also had the other defender kind of move over as well. So it turned into like a makeshift double team there on that 3-pointer. I just wasn't a fan of the final possession, but at the end of the day, Golden State gave it a good run. Boston won the game. My main rant for the actual day would be Toronto, and I can't believe that they blew the game against
I cashed it.
Minnesota.
I cashed. I had Minnesota.
That
I
was
wasn't.
it's more just the spot alone for Toronto. You've been playing good basketball lately. Minnesota is in a horrible spot in the scheduling situation. First of all, they're missing a couple players because Gobert's not
Mhm.
going to play. But Minnesota was just coming off of a competitive game in Denver, so in altitude. You're traveling for a back-to-back back home. Toronto had a couple days off, so they were well
Mhm.
rested. They scored 17 points in the fourth quarter.
They were up 10 before that fourth quarter.
I know they were up like 10 or they were up 8
I
entering the
had
fourth quarter, and they blew
all
the game.
day, all day. I was sitting there and I was saying, "This is a smash spot for Toronto. Toronto should get this done." And I think I even put it on Tally site. That's like I had all day. I was on Toronto, and then when it came for me to place a bet, and I was like, I put Toronto down because I was making a parlay. I put Toronto -4 down, and I was like, all right. And then before I hit it, I said, nah, I don't want to lay 4 with Toronto. Let me put money line. And then I was like, nah. Toronto's like 6-15 now on the road. Like we talk about freaking the Warriors. Toronto's really bad on the road too. And I just sat there. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna completely flip and go Minnesota money line. And I was kicking myself for about 75% of that game.
No, Toronto's bad on the road. I get it. But for scheduling spot alone and for a team that we were high on during the season, I got to at least bring up the Raptors because whatever they're doing right now, it's not working. And I've mentioned a lot
It
about
was something
teams
else.
that need to blow it up or teams that need to make moves. And I'm sure I've listed about, I don't know, 5 to whatever teams at this point. Toronto's on the short list. They really need to just reinvent themselves because whatever they're doing, it is not working. And the other team I added to the list yesterday was
Hold on, with
actually,
Toronto, Toronto moves to this was another key factor in me switching my pick. Toronto moves to
I think they're 6 and
5 and
15.
9. No, I'm saying 5 and 9 as
Or,
ATS. They moved
yeah.
to 5 and 9 ATS with the fact of them having a rest advantage. So when they have a rest advantage against the team, they are now 5 and 9 ATS.
How does that happen? Explain that to me. If you're professionals and you're relatively healthy against a shorthanded team and you have extra prep time, how are you that bad?
It's actually a lot of the league that is sub 500 against the rest advantage. You have Brooklyn, Chicago, Utah, Knicks, Toronto, Golden State, San Antonio, New Orleans, Dallas, Atlanta, Washington, Cleveland, Boston, Sacramento, Miami. So really, rest advantage really doesn't play much of a factor.
Apparently it
All of these
doesn't, but
teams.
the health advantage didn't matter either. But Toronto, I was disappointed with, especially when you're up by double digits against a shorthanded team. You figure you should dominate the second half at least because of fatigue in altitude for Minnesota. The other takeaway was Portland for me because I actually watched a decent amount of that game,
Yeah.
and I keep mentioning teams that need to consider blowing it up or making moves. Portland ain't it. That's all I'm going to say. They're
Oh,
not.
they
And I know
definitely. They're a piece away. They until they get that piece, they're gonna look like trash. But they are a piece away.
I watched it. It was bad. They scored like 14 points in the first quarter. I think Lillard was 1 for 11 at half. He was good in the second half to kind of salvage his numbers, but Portland just has no sense of cohesion. It seems like the chemistry is a bit off. The defense is horrible. The defense was okay yesterday, but for the most part, it's been terrible. It just seems like they're overwhelmed on several fronts right now.
Mhm.
I'm not even sure they're one piece away anymore. It just feels like whatever they're trying to do with the core three guys of Simons, Grant, and Lillard, and even with Nurkic at center, who didn't do anything yesterday, it just feels like there's something extremely off with this team, and they need to potentially move several pieces. But I know you were high on
I wouldn't
Portland
say that
earlier
much.
this season.
I'm still high on Portland. I'm still high on Portland. I told everybody. I was on this show and I said that this is a buy low spot with Portland. They're gonna look bad for a while. Portland is one of those teams that I could see after All-Star break that you just look at them go on a run and you're like, dang, is this the same team? Like they have the talent, they're just not putting it together. And
I'm gonna
so
ask you this though: how
I
much of their issues right now is player based, and how much of it is Chauncey maybe not being a great head coach, or is there overlap?
uh,
I'm not sure if Chauncey's a good or a
I don't
bad
want to say
coach.
that. I think because would you say okay, let's sit here and say Golden State is currently one game ahead of them.
Yeah.
Do you think Golden State issues are player based, coach based?
Uh, it's a good question.
I
You can argue
me
that it's player based because they've had injuries and they've been dealing with some stuff, but
I
they're
think
really bad
they
on the
just
road.
haven't put it together. Like
Yeah.
I think that I give there's some teams that as I look at them and I watch how they play in different points in the season that I'll give more credit than others. And Golden State and Portland are both one of them where they're both not in top six where you want to be. They're Golden State's in playing, Portland's out on the outside looking in. But those are two teams that I sit here and say when I watch them, I'm like, man, they look good for like this stretch here, this stretch there. They look good. They could be this team. They just got to put it together for a whole game. They got to put it together on the road. They got to put it together, whatever. I think that those two teams are, especially Golden State. I mean, that's easy, but Portland is somebody that I can see that if they make the play in, if they get an opportunity against in OKC, against the Clippers, against the Minnesota, I think they make it out, and then they'll be a very dangerous opponent for a Denver, for a less degree of a Memphis. Definitely, whoever gets that sixth seed is going to be dangerous against Sacramento. So I think it'll be. I think that I haven't bet them in forever, and it's actually
Yeah.
killing me because I like betting them, but uh, I think that there's a different, like they're just going through a rough stretch right now, and I like to see them after All-Star break when they get the time off, when they get that chance to reset, put everything else together, and possibly make a move. Like I really think they should move, but it's also Portland, and Portland never makes moves.
Yeah, or when they do, it's kind of questionable moves at times, but still, I do think that Portland can definitely improve in several areas. Golden State, I don't think is a great team right now, but they've earned a certain level of trust because of how much they've won in the past and how consistent they've been in years past. So I feel like that's why we kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think Golden State's going to win anything until they actually can win on the road, which has been a serious problem all season long. But I don't know. Portland, I just watch and I just feel like Portland is a team that I don't want to say peaked already, but maybe it's just me. You can tell me in the chat box, but it feels like Portland peaked in, I don't even know, like October and November. Like it really just doesn't feel like Portland is even making strides of figuring it out at some point. It feels like Portland is a team that just has some talented scorers. That's pretty much it. And I'm not sure Chauncey's a good coach. So I feel like Portland's definitely up against it. You assume Golden State will figure it out because they have a lot of championship pedigree. We have Steve Kerr, who's one of the winningest coaches of all time. You can find a way to, piece it together. But Portland just has a bunch of isolation scores and really nothing else. That's really what I see for Portland. So I'm not a fan of that team. I think they're going to need to make some moves. I think Nurkic has to be gone, in my opinion. I don't think he fits with this team at all. But Portland, from what I saw yesterday against Philly, I don't even know if they're a playing team. I think that team has serious problems. You're also assuming Lillard's going to stay healthy for the rest of the year. He's had injury issues. Simon's had injury issues in the past. Even Grant's had injury issues in the past. So I'm out on Portland. I'm not exactly sold there. Pretty sure Terrell just had some Wi-Fi issues, so I'm sure he'll be back in a couple minutes. But I'm trying to think of any other takeaways that I had. Really didn't have much. I had a really, really bad beat with Kyrie yesterday. I had Kyrie under 29.5 points. I believe he had 6 in the first half. and then he scored roughly 20 points in the fourth quarter, and he finished with 30. Props to Phoenix for winning the game. It was embarrassing that the game was even that close in the end, but Phoenix ended up covering because Claxton can't hit free throws. I'll roast Ben Simmons quickly. You can't get ejected there, especially with Durant not playing. You cannot get thrown out of a basketball game when you're arguably the reputation to being the second best player on the team. Because with KD being out, you could argue Simmons is a high-profile guy who should be the second best player on the team. I think it's Claxton. I think Claxton's the second best player on the team when KD's out because of his defensive impact. But Simmons can't get ejected there. He gets into foul trouble every game. I get it. That's kind of his thing at this point because he tries to play some physical defense. But you can't get thrown out in the third quarter. That can't be a situation that happens. I got to at least bring it up because Simmons, you can't get ejected in that game. That's really my only takeaway there. The Nets without Durant suck. I'm not surprised they lost the game. But you cannot get ejected when you're already shorthanded. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't. I don't know. I kind of thought, like, when I was looking at it, I was like, dang, is he trying to give the team a spark? Like, is that what he's trying to do?
I guess you could argue that he did, but I don't know. It's Simmons. I mean, what he gets into foul trouble every game. Offensively, he's not going to do much for you besides facilitate. I just couldn't get past the fact that he got ejected in the third quarter of a game. And it didn't even seem like a spark. It seemed like he really just didn't want to be on the court, if I'm being honest with you. But, I guess it provided a spark indirectly, but that was another takeaway. Players can complain about calls and they can complain about some things that don't go their way. You have to at least read the room. I just feel like it's a spot where Simmons has to be smarter than that. That was really my only takeaway for the Nets game.
I'm not going to break down Nets games ever because at this point, when I look at this Nets team, I really don't care what they do in the regular season, to be honest. I just want to know when they get to the playoffs, are they going to be streaky or not? Like, this just seems.
The main argument now is what I said a couple days ago. The Nets are, as far as I'm concerned, are in auto fade territory without Durant. They're just not a good basketball team.
Here's my thing. I really think the Nets are as good as their shooting takes them. Like, that's it. Like,
well, that's a big problem because Durant's out.
Yeah, but that's really the huge thing. But it's really because as I sit there and I'm like TJ Warren, Steph, like the other day against San Antonio, they couldn't hit anything.
No, not at all.
But it's like I'll take them against anybody, and we'll talk about them later, as long as they hit shots because they're so streaky. Like they're as a team. Freaking Cam Thomas when he comes off the bench.
And Thomas never plays. He should play more.
He only plays because of Durant injury or there's got to be injuries for him to play, and that's insane because he's a guy that needs volume to be better. So
well, how many minutes did Thomas play last night? Did he play that many minutes?
I think he played 20 something.
Okay.
Because he was like 6 for 11 or something like that. I remember looking at it because I was like, dang, I wonder how Cam Thomas is playing. Because I truly believe Cam Thomas is a 20-point per game scorer on another team.
Yeah,
if he starts so far another team, he's a 20-point per game scorer.
I'm not going to go too in-depth on the Nets game, but my main issue is still the fact that without KD, they don't have pretty much any shot creators besides Kyrie.
13 minutes, 6 for 11, 15 points.
Yeah, he's got to play more than 13 minutes.
He's so underutilized.
And I think he only played 13 because they were getting killed. They might have brought him in because they emptied out the bench, and the bench unit suddenly made the game competitive. And Kyrie, who went nuts in the fourth. But no, the team, when you look at Durant being out of the lineup, you're relying on people like Royce O'Neal to potentially create their own shots. We know Simmons is never going to shoot the ball. The offense sucks when KD's out because A, KD's one of the best scorers of all time. B, nobody wants to put it on the floor besides Kyrie. That's really the problem.
When KD's out, they should really start TJ Warren. They're not willing to do that. And I don't know why Joe Harris should still be coming off the bench. If KD's
I think Harris is borderline washed, but that's a separate story. I'm not a Joe Harris guy, but
I don't know. That's my last name. I think that whenever KD is out, TJ Warren should 100% be starting. All right. Before we get into the slate, got to talk to you about the official online sportsbook of Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and that is WynnBET. You can live bet. You have the same game. Win. Build your own bet parlays, and you can bet on the NBA playoffs at WynnBET. And if you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, the biggest parlay of the week, you will get $1,000 free credit. So much to choose from. Go head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. All subject to change, terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 20 and older and present in a state where play the WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right, Scott, let's get into the card. 7 o'clock on the East Coast, we have the New Orleans Pelicans traveling to play the Orlando Magic in Orlando. Pelicans are laying 1.5 on the road. 228.5 is the total. Injury report for these two teams, and I have for the Pelicans, Najee Marshall is questionable with a toe injury. Herb Jones is questionable with a back, and no Zion or Bi. And for the Orlando Magic, Franz Wagner is questionable. Wendell Carter Jr. is not on the injury report. Markel Fultz is not on the injury report. Jonathan Isaac and RJ Hampton are. Jonathan Isaac is out on G League assignment, same as Caleb Houston and Kevon Harris, and RJ Hampton is available. All right.
I'm taking Orlando. I'm just going to be quick with this one. I don't like how New Orleans has played without their two best players. They were fine without Ingram because Zion was carrying and he was going nuclear. But with Zion being out, this team can't score. You're just watching this team play. They don't win games without either guy. And I have serious question marks about if they're going to be able to play well on the road because they're 9-13 on the road. Orlando's been struggling lately, but the last two games they were competitive. Lost to Utah by 4, lost to Denver by 3. That was the Jokic game-winning three-pointer. They also haven't played since the 15th, which is kind of crazy. They've had like 3 or 4 days off in a row, which is bizarre in the NBA calendar. I want nothing to do with New Orleans. They've lost 3 of their last 4. The one win was against Detroit, but they're in the middle of really just a terrible run, and they've lost their last 3 losses have been by double digits. I'm not laying points with New Orleans on the road. Give me Orlando on the money line. I think they'll win the game.
Yeah, I'll lay 1.5 with New Orleans. I understand and I get all of it, but I mean, I think that this is a game that New Orleans can score. I don't think that there's anything possible that they can do to stop CJ McCollum in this game. So I'll take New Orleans, and I'll take New Orleans with the caveat that CJ goes for like 30. I truly think that this is one of those games where there's nothing that they can do about CJ McCollum. It's a non-conference game, so I expect to see a lot of points on both sides. Jonas Valanciunas has been able to step up and go in the inside and inside the paint, be able to score. I understand the scoring struggles for New Orleans recently. I do. I think it ends today. That's just a gut call by me. I had this one circled that I think that this is the game that New Orleans is going to be able to put up a bunch of points, and I think this is it. So
I think Orlando's actually been decent at home. They're 10-12, so I'm going to go with Orlando, who's relatively healthy in this game. They're going to be potentially missing Wagner, but still, they're relatively healthy. New Orleans, I want to love this team so much, but we knew injuries.
I mean, 10-12. You said New Orleans was 9-13. That's not far off.
It's not far off, but I'm saying Orlando's so bad on the road or overall, that you'd think that their home records are not great. 10-12 is actually not bad for a team that's 12 games under 500 in general. But I do want to at least point out, Brandon Ingram really missed 2 months with a bone bruise in his toe. With a bruise? 2 months?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I assume that it's a lot. I've never had that injury, so I don't know what that feels like, but I just assume it's bad. Toe injuries do be holding people.
I'm assuming it's not great. Like turf toe can last a couple months. We've seen that in the NFL and whatever, but it's like just a reminder. It's like it's a bone bruise. He's missed 2 months. Like that. I feel like at no point was he projected to miss this much time. They need him back. That's all I'm saying, because they are really limited offensively right now.
Orlando's bringing in 93% of the money. The spread has moved from 1 to 1.5.
Okay, so that's a reverse line movement.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Total sitting at 228.5. I assume you're on the under.
Orlando's not a good defensive team. That's really what's holding me up.
I'm telling you, this is the game that New Orleans breaks it open. This is the game they figure it out.
Okay. I'll lean to the over, I
It's a
guess then.
non-conference. It's a non-conference over as well. So, that's always a good spot. That's like 53, 54% on the season, something like that. And both of these teams in non-conference games, Orlando is 14-5 to the over, 73%. That is number one in the NBA. And New Orleans is 12-7, 63% in non-conference games to the over. So
All right.
I, I
Well,
I just think it's a game where neither team really knows how to defend each other, and you're gonna have people that normally don't go crazy in this game.
okay. I'll go with you with the over.
All right, let's see. Prop wise, I said CJ. Anything else you got?
For me, I'm trying to think of what I want to go with. Valanciunas rebounds. No offense to Wendell Carter Jr. He can go back to his double double if you want to.
Hmm.
Valanciunas is just such a big body that I think he's going to be able to
He's
do what he
so
wants
strong
anyway.
on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I mean, I think both those guys probably go for double doubles. So Wendell Carter is probably going to have a decent price. Nothing insane, but still decent. Valanciunas is probably going to be a minus, but I still think that Valanciunas gets there. It just seems like a game where you're going to have to rely on really just McCollum and Valanciunas to carry you.
hmm
And I think that they'll be able to have some success. I'm not picking to win the game still, but I think Valanciunas and Carter Jr. have great chances to go for double doubles.
New Orleans is a lock for me if Franz Wagner doesn't play.
Okay.
If he does play, I'm taking Wagner's points over. I just think that there's going to be so much attention on Paulo Banquero,
Yeah.
and Wagner finds a way to get to the rim. He finds a way to get to the rim, put points on the board, and get over his points props. So I'm on Wagner if he plays. If he doesn't, New Orleans is a lot for me because I think Wagner is actually a big piece of that offense.
I'm looking at the prices, by the way. Valanciunas double doubles minus 230, so there's not much value on it, but I think he'll probably get there anyway. Wendell Carter
Probably be
Jr.
like
is
a.
plus 200 for double double.
He's got to be out there.
I gotta play that.
Yeah,
Plus
he's got to be
200,
out
I
there. That's
think
ridiculous.
his role is too prominent on this team. I gotta go with the plus
And
200.
I think it's going to be a lot of shots. Now, I think a lot of them are going to go in, but it's going to be a lot that probably don't go in as well.
We've talked
So,
about Wendell Carter for weeks, and he's cashed double doubles pretty much every
yeah,
game. I'll take the plus 200.
yeah. All right. Next game on the slate, we have the Miami Heat going to play the Dallas Mavericks. In Dallas, Heat are laying 1.5 on the road. Excuse me. 219.5 is the total injury report for these two teams. And we have for the Miami Heat, Donis Haslam is probable. Wow. Is that it? All right. I guess that's it. Because that's it. Wow. Interesting.
I know Lowry's been banged up. Is he on the injury report or
No,
he's
he's
still
not
injured?
up there.
Okay.
No, only other people that are on the injury report are the people that's not playing: Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, and Omar Yurtseven. For the Mavericks, you have THJ is probable, McKinley Wright is out, and Christian Wood. He's on IR with that thumb injury. Was that last game? I think it was. Did that
I
happen?
believe so.
And Maxi Kleber for that hamstring. He's still on IR.
He has a fractured left thumb, so
Yeah, he's done for a while.
yeah. Means Dallas is screwed, for the record. In case you weren't sure, that means Dallas is screwed. They were
I
screwed
mean,
anyway, but now they're officially
yeah,
screwed.
yeah. You took one of what's that? What is he? Their second or second leading scorer?
I'm
Their
assuming
second leading
second.
scorer.
It's either him or Dimwitty, but I'm assuming that he's second.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's him for second. And he's gone. He's the only little bit of size they had left. So
And Kleber's injured too. So Kleber, I'm not a fan of Kleber, but the point is they're already limited at center, and now they really have no centers.
it should be a Bam game, but you know how that goes. I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm just let y'all know that it should be a Bam game in this one. So
I mean, Bam double doubles minus 155. So
you might
that's a
lay
pretty
that juice
decent
and he
price
not
there.
get it. Like there's a good possibility that you lay that juice and he not get it. Is there a place that I could bet Bam not to have a double double?
Yeah,
If it's
no
minus
no double doubles
155,
plus 125.
really?
You're not laying anything. You're getting. Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's
For no
155
double
for him to
double?
have it. So for him to not have it, it would be plus
Yeah, but
100.
it's once plus one. I mean, it's a really, really good spot for Bam. It
Yeah.
really, really is. I'm not gonna touch Bam. I'm not gonna fade him. I'm not gonna do it. But I'm just saying, If he doesn't get it, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not. All right.
I'm
Actually, breakdown of the game.
I'm going with Miami. I know that Miami on the road is a team that we've
There's no
faded
way I'm doing it.
constantly. I
No,
know.
Miami on the road laying points.
No,
There's
no,
no
no.
way I'm doing it.
Well, they're laying point because they're favored by 1. They're not laying points, but still, I think I got to go with Miami. I've roasted this team all year long for resting guys, and yet they're in first place. They're 4 games over somehow. I don't know how the hell they're 4 games over, but they're 4 games over. Dallas's defense has fallen apart. They've given up 130 plus in 3 straight games.
Yeah.
This team is bad. And even at home, gave up 130 to an Atlanta team that we've roasted for the year. And Trey had a double-double. I think he only scored like 14 points. He really didn't do much. DeJounte had 30. But I got to fade Dallas right now. With no Christian Wood and with how this team's played, I can't do it. I get the argument of Miami on the road. I can't trust this team. I understand it. We've talked about this team a lot, fading them wise on the road. I can't take Dallas. I just can't do it.
I can't, and that's crazy because I can't take Miami. I
With Wood
cannot
being
lay
out-
points with Miami.
With Wood being out, I don't like anything about this team besides praying Luka goes for 40. I just can't. I think that with a healthy Heat team, they're the much better team on paper. They're the better coach team, and I like the form they're in. Once again, 130 plus points in 3 straight games, and Dallas plays at arguably the slowest pace in the league. So their defense is awful right now. I'm going to lean to Miami.
Only way I'm betting this game is by Luka triple double. Well, no, I don't even know if I want triple double because I have no idea if I think anybody else will actually score the ball.
It's like Luka points, I guess.
But I mean, somebody else does have to. They do have to score. Yeah, I would play Luka, either Luka points or Luka triple double.
Luka triple double, by the way, is plus 235. I think there's like no value on that.
Oh, plus 525 for triple double and a win. I do find some interest in that.
Wait, you found 525 on win?
Not on win.
With the win.
With
sorry.
the win.
With the win. Sorry.
With
okay.
the win. So plus 525, Luka triple double with the win. 40 plus in the win is 540.
Okay.
Basically,
he's going to need it.
Yeah, he has to.
Unless
he has
you
to
pivot
go
over to Tim Hardaway Jr. threes or Dimwitty 20 plus points, but Miami, I still think they've been playing better. I'll give them props. Dallas is just bad. They're just a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
I'll lean to Miami. I like the under. Actually, can I even take an under when Dallas is giving up?
Tim Hardaway Jr. is playing. Yeah, give me Dallas. I'm getting Tim Hardaway Jr. and Luka. I feel pretty decent about that, and everybody else will fall in line somewhere.
I wanted to make a case for like a Jimmy Butler TV triple double game, but I don't even know if I believe in it. Honestly, I feel like I'm just forcing a narrative that isn't there.
If Bam wasn't playing, I'd be all over it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even Lowry's playing. I think Lowry's washed too, but he'll get the assists. He'll take assists away from Jimmy.
Watch Bam finish with eight rebounds. Just watch him do something Bam like.
No, he's going to finish with 9. Rebounds. He's got to taunt you a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say 9, but I felt like that was too easy, so I came back down to 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. It's 8 or 9. I wonder if you could bet him to exactly have 8 or 9 rebounds. I really feel like you got a good chance of that. All right. Next game on the slate. We have the New York Knickerbockers going to play the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. Hawks are laying 3. 228 is the total. Injury report here. And you have for the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson, he's out for a while. What's with everybody in these thumbs? I'm pretty sure he has a fractured thumb too. So he had surgery on his too. So Mitchell Robinson's going to be out for a little while.
I'm personally shocked that Mitchell Robinson got injured again. He's out for several weeks.
Yeah,
I'm totally shocked. I'm just
never saw it coming.
No, never did.
Trae Young is questionable with the ankle injury. Bogdan Bogdanović is questionable with the knee injury. I mean, okay, this is really my only thing against the Knicks in this spot because. Again, Knicks dominant over Atlanta in the regular season, like absolutely dominant over.
They're also good on the road.
Yeah, and they're good on the road. 81% of bets, 97% of money is on New York in this game, and I think it's because everybody realizes that they are so dominant against Atlanta during the regular season.
Mm-hmm. Really, ever since the playoff series, they've been dominant against Atlanta.
I mean, even before that playoff series,
they were good in the regular
season. We swept them in the regular season before that. So that's why I was so confident going into that series. I came on this podcast and I was confident on them. I mean, I guess we take Atlanta.
I'm assuming Trae Young's going to play because the line is still 2.5. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming him and Bogdanovich will probably play. I'm going to take Atlanta in this one.
Yeah, I guess we got to take Atlanta.
The
It's too much
Knicks,
money on the Knicks, man.
the Knicks are a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I've called them streaky all season long. Nothing against them, just being honest. They've had a
Mhm.
bunch of like 5 game winning streaks, then they'll lose 4 in a row, then they'll win 8 of 9, then they'll lose 5 of 6. They've been up and down all season. They've lost 2 straight. They lost to the Wizards last game pretty handily. I've seen this movie before. The Knicks had a good run for a week or two. Now they're going to go on a downswing. Then they'll be on an upswing again in a couple weeks. And with Robinson being out, you're relying heavily on Hartenstein and Jericho Sims against
Now, I feel
Capella.
confident with Jericho Sims coming in relief, but I don't feel confident in Tibbs being
He's not going to
confident in
use him as
Sims.
much as you want
Yeah,
him to be used.
Sims is actually good. Like,
Sims is
he's
good.
actually good.
I like them at Texas, but they're going to use Hartenstein as their main potential starter. So I'm all over
Yeah, I'm
Capella
so
rebounds in this
surprised.
game. How am I not on Capella rebounds in this game? I think Capella's going to eat on the glass. So give me Atlanta. Of course, if Trae Young doesn't play in the end, then of course everything I'm going to say is voided. But I do think that for the spot itself, I think it's a decent spot for Atlanta. And the Knicks are streaky. And right now they've lost 2 straight. That means they're probably in line to lose another 2 in a row. You can
Mhm,
agree with me on that because we've seen it all year long.
mhm.
Give me the Knicks to lose again. I'll take Atlanta. But I do
Yeah,
like Capella having a big game on the glass.
it's so funny. I the first time I ever came on this pod was in Clubhouse, I think it was, or like it was like locker room, green room, something like that.
It was a locker room, I think.
Yeah, and so I came on here. The Knicks had just went on a crazy winning streak. Stephen A. Smith went on TV, said that the Knicks are back, all of that. And I came on the podcast and I said, watch the Knicks lose 5 straight games and then win a random road game against Boston. And it actually happened. They lost 5 straight and went and won a random road game against Boston. And I think they were like 2, maybe 3-1 dogs in that game. It was hilarious. That's like one of my favorite moments because I just the Knicks lose when they lose in bunches, man.
Mhm.
Like they
That's
don't
my
just
point.
lose
They've
one
lost two
game.
straight, and
Yeah, they lose in
both games
bunches,
were
man.
kind of upsetting. The Toronto game they could have won and went to overtime. Brunson almost hit the 3 in overtime. The Wizards game, I know Beal came back, but still, you lost by 11. You trailed the entire game. It feels like the Knicks are just an up and down team. I think they're back down. I'll lean to Atlanta.
Can I make a case for you to be wary of Jalen Brunson today?
Okay, sure. Is he not
He
good against Atlanta historically or something?
no, not historically. DeJounte Murray.
Oh,
It's
okay.
DeJounte Murray. Yeah, for the most part. He had 8 points in that game earlier this season against them, and he had 20 in the one before that. And then coming down his game log in games he actually had minutes 18, 17, 31. There's a 31 and 10 in there. So that is there. 19, 11. He has another game with 31 minutes that he had 16 points. Like, I think DeJounte Murray, just his size and his length just kind of fucks with him a little bit. So, I mean,
Are we pivoting to Randall then? Because Randall
yeah,
historically
Randall
has had
always
pretty good
goes
games.
off against
He's
them.
had good games against Atlanta.
Yeah,
So
and right now, if you watched Atlanta's lineup, they're actually bringing Capella off the bench and giving Okongwu the starting minutes. And so I think that I think that's a matchup that Julius Randle can take advantage of him against Okongwu. So yeah, I think we pivot from. I'm not bold enough to sit here and give out Brunson's unders,
but you're just
but
not taking overs.
yeah, I'm not taking his points today. I think I would rather
I'm
just
thinking of
watch.
assists,
Yeah, like
maybe.
assist. I could feel good about that. I don't feel comfortable on him today, and it's just because Dejounte does give him a good matchup, and I think that he has Brunson circled with how crazy he's been going the past couple games.
Do you want to make a case for spot start Hartenstein for double double?
I think if you find either Hartstein or Sims, you're going to get a good number on both. I think you sprinkle on both.
I don't think
Honestly,
Hartenstein's good enough. I'm just asking because we talk about spot starts for Moses Brown and players around the league. I'm kind of just throwing it out there because you
it,
might get a decent price.
I want to see what the final lineup is. If it's Sims, I will give out Sims double double 100 times. But Hartstein does actually like sneakily find himself around rebounds. I think Hartstein is going to be better when Clint Capella is in the game though, and he
Yep.
can kind of space the floor more. Whereas Sims, especially if they're starting Okongwu, I would all right, bet you're starting Okongwu. I'm going to counter that and start Sims. and oh, you're starting Capella. All right, I'm gonna counter that. Start
I
Hartstein.
think
Like,
Sims' skill set's quite similar to Mitchell Robinson's. I don't think he's got much offensive talent, but if you throw him a couple lobs, he'll do something.
yeah,
He can't shoot free throws to save his life, though, which is a serious problem for double doubles. But still, yeah, I'm going to lean to Atlanta in this game. Feels like a spot where the Knicks are about to go on a bit of a losing streak.
yeah. All right. And Atlanta's historically good at home.
And
Did
Atlanta's
they?
at home, yeah, so that helps.
So, and did they lose their last home game? No, they won the last home game. Never mind. Okay, can't use that angle. All right. Next game. Oh, total sitting at 228.
I'm on the under. First two meetings this season, one of the two teams did not reach 100 points. First game landed 211. Second meeting landed 202. I think 228 is too high, especially with Trae Young being questionable. So there's no guarantee he's going to play anyway. I got to take the under. When these two teams play, it's usually a very physical battle. I'm going with the under.
All right.
You?
Yeah, I'm going under. Did I mention we didn't talk about the total in that last game? But it's a
I didn't have a thought on the Miami total. I didn't have anything there.
Yeah, I'm still going over non-conference, and same thing as the other game. You got Dallas 10-8 non-conference overs. Miami's 12-11. Just seems like a pretty good spot where we look at these two teams, especially if you look at Dallas and their pace of play, you think, oh, they go under all the time. You should.
Well, that's what I said. They've given up 130 in three straight, and they play the slowest.
So they've been
basketball
really
in the
bad.
league.
Yeah, so really bad defensively, and they are an over team. 15-8 to the over at home. 7-5 as an underdog. 27-19 on the year. So yeah, over in that game as well.
Okay.
All right. Next game on the slate, we have the Golden State Warriors on a back-to-back going to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavaliers are laying 8. 224 is the total. Come down all the way from 228.5.
So how many people on Golden State sit this game?
That is the question. That is the
Clay's not going to play.
Clay. Yeah, Clay. They have Clay on the injury report as unlikely to play. They don't have anybody else, any of the starters on the injury report as unlikely. They have TBDs by Andre Iguodala, Jonathan Kuminga, James Wiseman, Jermichael Green. Now, this is not an official injury report because they don't have to submit one this early. So you very well could see outs in this game.
I think we're going to see outs in this game. Clay is a given because he's skipped back-to-backs all season long. They just played overtime.
If it's just Clay, well, hold on. Let's get to Cleveland.
If it's just Clay, then I'll lean Golden State. But in reality, with the amount of times they've benched starters and they're off an overtime game with travel, I'd be shocked if like half the usual starters play in this game. Wiggins is just coming back off injury. Curry's just coming back off injury. I really see them benching half the team.
Donovan Mitchell is questionable. Real quick, Donovan Mitchell's questionable. That's really the big thing to know on Cleveland's side of the ball.
He missed the last game. Garland, I believe, had 30, and it was either 10 or 11, but he had a great game.
I feel like if Golden State sits everybody, you don't have to play Donovan Mitchell in this game.
I'm on Garland props all day, every day in this game. But
I feel like Garland does he have a good, what team is it? It's one team that Garland like historically is good. I don't know if it's Golden State or not.
I think it's Golden State. I'm trying to think of what team Garland's usually.
It's one team. I feel like Indiana? I'm not. I don't know who it is, but I feel like there's one team that Darius Garland just always kills.
I thought it was Indiana. I thought Garland's had very good numbers against Indiana.
Maybe it's Indiana. Garland.
But the point is, I think Golden State's going to bench half their team. So I'm not going to back a Golden State team that's been awful on the road all season long and that has rested a bunch of starters all the time on back-to-backs. And now you're playing on the road with travel off an overtime game on the road. I understand the argument of it's a big spread. Cleveland at home is still very good. They haven't been as good as they were to start the year. But I'm not going to play this now.
It's not Golden State.
I'm not going to play this right now because I got to wait to see what the injury news is, at least in some capacity. But I think I'm going to lean Cleveland. It really feels like a slam dunk spot for Golden State to bench half their team, in my opinion.
I don't know, because what was it? Was that against Washington that I just like? It was recent that I just sat there and I don't think it was Washington game.
But we're
What
talking about
game?
Golden State, or we're talking about
Yeah,
Cleveland?
it was a game recently where Golden State had a back-to-back, and they still played everybody on the
Yeah, they beat
back-to-back.
Washington because I had them against Chicago the game prior, and Vucevic scored like 40 points.
Yeah, yeah. So,
But Curry went nuts. It was
well, this
MLK.
is
It was MLK Day, so maybe just based on the significance of the day, they decided to play everyone. But Curry had 41. Poole had it like 30. They went off. Curry's going to go nuclear. He's going to do his thing every now and then. So
this is different because this is going to be the fourth game this week for them. It's a lot.
it's the overtime factor. That they
I'll
played a
take
lot of minutes yesterday.
I'll take Cleveland first half, but if Golden State has their guys still playing, I'm gonna take the points in Golden State for the full game. But
I agree with you. I just don't think they're going to have their guys.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. That Washington one was surprising when they said that Steph and everybody was playing in that one. Curious on what they do here.
I wonder if it was MLK Day related, where it was an important holiday, so they just decided to suit up anyway.
Oh wow, yeah, could have been that. So if you're like Scott, you think that they sit in. I really don't know. I think it's 50-50. But if you're like Scott, you lean to it more. You probably want to get this Cleveland line now.
I do like your Cleveland first half play. I think they'll jump them.
Yeah. It's a letdown spot. That was a big game. Like, that's a big game last night. This is such a letdown spot in a game that's not even on TV
It's
for you
even
to just
worse
come
because
out flat.
you gave your best shot and you still lost the game.
Yeah,
And
like
you should have won the game.
this is
Yeah.
a spot where you could definitely come out super flat.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. The Clippers are on the road. Los Angeles Clippers on the road going to play the San Antonio Spurs. Clippers are laying 7,
Do we really need to
231.
break anything down in this game? I'm just going to ask.
I mean, I don't,
You have
but
Kawhi and
I
Paul
know.
George off the injury report for now. I'm taking San Antonio. I mean, you think I'm laying 7 with the Clippers on the road?
Where are we at? Yeah, they're not on an injury report. Luke Kennard is not playing. Moses Brown is not playing. Did they send Moses Brown to the G League? No,
I'm
they
assuming
didn't.
they did. I don't even see him on the injury report.
No, they didn't. You fucking bastards.
And I see that John Wall's not playing, and apparently the Clippers are shopping him. So, fun experiment you had there with John Wall for a couple months, but he's out of the rotation. He hasn't really done anything lately.
Vassell is still on IR. Everybody else is available for San Antonio. Yeah, San Antonio plus 7. San Antonio's freaking on the money line. I'm not laying this many points with the Clippers.
Once again, the Clippers should win the game because they have the more talented roster, and they've done well in the head-to-head this season. But
Do they have the
can't
more
do it.
talented roster? Do they? Do they
The
really?
Clippers, yeah. Come on.
They
let's
have
not
stars.
get crazy here.
They have stars.
The Spurs
They
are
have
17
stars.
under. Like, come on. Like, let's not
They
get
have
crazy here.
stars.
The Spurs are arguably the worst team in the league in terms of
I
talent.
just think the Spurs suck, but I don't know. The Clippers don't show me anything on.
Oh no, the
given
Clippers.
night.
I don't like the Clippers either, but I mean the more talented. I mean, come on. Like we talk about how the Spurs.
We talk about
Wemby
Kawhi and Paul George. When do we ever really talk about anybody else on the Clippers? Like, we never really talk about anybody else on the Clippers. We get one, maybe 2 good games from somebody, and we're just like, oh, all right. Well, I mean, they're just kind of there. Like, this is just a team that's there. This is just a team that's in the league. It's not anybody important. It's not anybody special. They don't do anything special. They're 23-24. They're probably going to finish somewhere around 500, maybe a couple of games above, maybe a couple of games below. This is not a team that's doing anything special. I
Once
just
again,
wouldn't lay
I'm not,
7 with
I'm
this.
not saying they're good, but you just said they'll finish around 500. The Spurs are going to finish probably somewhere around.
But the Spurs are
20
actively
to
tanking.
25.
The Spurs are actively tanking.
They're actively tanking. So how are you going to tell me
They're
that
actively
that
they're
close
actually
in terms of
trying
talent?
not to win games. If you gave me the Spurs and you told me that Spurs were going out there and actually trying to win that game, I would tell you the Spurs would beat the Clippers.
I'm going to go with the Spurs anyway.
I'm going to take the better coach. I'm going to take this trash team that gets up in random spots, super random spots. I'm gonna just hope that this is a random spot that they get up for. There's literally nothing to say when the Spurs decide to come play basketball or not. Like, there's
Once
no
again,
handicap, there's no nothing. They just randomly decide to come play basketball for a day.
I agree with you. I'm going to take San Antonio, but for the talent purposes, Clippers are a more talented team. I mean, I'm not going to try to argue the Spurs are close, but I don't like how the Clippers have played. It's really simple as that. I'm going with San Antonio as well.
Is Keldon Johnson?
Yeah.
If is outside of Kawhi and Paul George, would you take Keldon Johnson over anybody on the Clippers roster?
You would I take anyone on the Clippers roster?
Well, yeah, on anybody over Keldon Johnson.
Probably not. I really like Keldon.
All right, Spurs money line.
Well, that was gonna be my correlated play. If you're gonna take the Spurs, put Keldon 25
Yeah,
plus, 30 plus
yeah.
points. Trey Jones also pretty nice, but yeah, I think Keldon's the line for a good game. I just saw him
I
go for
want to give out Trey
36.
Jones assists, but I don't want to do that because I don't need him making me look bad. Because there's some games that he just like he doesn't hit the mark there.
I saw Keldon go for 36 against the Nets. I think he had 28 points in the second half. I'll go with Keldon over in points in
Keldon's
the
really good.
threes.
VA guy. VA
Good
guy.
player.
He's really, really good. All right. Next game on the slate, we have the Indiana Pacers going to play the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets are laying 11 at home. 239.5 is the total. Tyrese Halliburton, Daniel Tice, you're not seeing them playing this game. Other than that, Pacers are clean on the injury report.
Denver is such a tough team to break down because they're so good
Jamal
record-wise, but
Jamal Murray is probable. Jeff Green's questionable, as you were saying.
oh, Murray screwed you last game. He hasn't been great all year, but he was great against Minnesota.
Did I say he was going to be bad?
No, I'm just saying this season he hasn't been great.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
saying because
he had a really good. Yeah, he had a
line.
really good.
So I'm saying since you had the money line, Murray kind of screwed you.
Yeah, I was watching that game. Like I stayed up to watch that game and watch Minnesota. Just like they
Pumping
were leading majority of that game, and I looked like a genius until the end of the game. And I still think I looked like a genius because
MVP Luka Garza was carrying you a bit there.
yeah, he was, and it was really crazy. But it was like Luka Garza was winning them the game, but also losing them the game
because he can't guard anybody.
Yeah, he can't guard anybody, and it was just like random bad shots. Like he had a hook shot right in front of the rim. I think it maybe was Jokic in front of him, but like Jokic was just standing there. Jokic wasn't doing anything, and he missed it. And then he comes back down the next possession and hits a spot up three. And I'm just like, all right.
In his defense, Garza never plays. He was just thrilled to be on the court. Yeah. He was going to shoot it every time he got the ball.
I was so mad, but I mean, granted, I still did kind of like a genius because they opened up at 8 when we were recording, and then they got to 10, and I slammed them again at 10 because I was like, nah, I'm not laying double digits with Denver. And that's the handicap for this game. I'm not laying double digits with Denver, but I'm definitely not doing it against the Pacers. Like the Pacers are a team. This is the same spot that the Pacers went and got an outright win against Golden State last year and this year. And this year as well. Well, because Hallie didn't play in that game this year, I don't think. So, I mean, yeah, Jokic is Jokic, but everybody else, streaky.
Denver is gonna disappoint so many people in the playoffs.
Somebody who was it? I think it was Matt Moore with Action, and he was making a case. I don't know if he was making a case for Denver, but I think he wasn't like buying into the Jokic is a good player, but Denver hasn't gotten it done yet. Like I think he was kind of saying that, hey, you got to give Denver a chance. No, Denver has had chances and they just can't get it done, man. They can't. They're not going to be that team in the postseason.
Barkley also said that Denver and Memphis are the two best teams in the West, which I agree with. But he said he's all in on the Nuggets. You know what that means. So Denver's that's not going to work out for them. But Jokic offensively is great. Defensively, he's always going to be a liability. It is what it is. And once again, I don't think you can win if you have Jokic and Michael Porter Jr.'s defense on the court at the same time in crunch time. You're not going to win in the playoffs, but this isn't the playoffs. I said I was going to fade Indiana when Halliburton was out, and they haven't won a game since. They've been getting blown out regularly. I like the over because I don't think either team's going to guard anybody. I do like Denver team total over. Indiana's defense is really horrible. Giannis didn't play. They gave up 132, gave up 130 to Memphis, gave up 126 to OKC. I think Denver can go for 130 here. I really wouldn't shock me if they show up for this game. I'm on the over. It's 239.5, which I get is high. They gave up 118 to Luka Garza and company for Minnesota. I'm on the over. I see points, but I guess I'll lean to Denver first quarter. We've talked about on the show. Denver's a great first quarter team.
And Indiana's a terrible first quarter team.
Give me Denver first quarter.
They are so bad.
That's really the only play I like for
that is the only play that I like for Denver. It is that first quarter because Indiana is so bad in the first quarter. Like
the line will probably be close to 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5. That's a lot, but I think they get there, and I think Indiana's climbing back, but they're really bad in the first quarter.
Denver gets good starts. The problem is defensively, they really struggle in general as the game goes on. I only see 3.5, actually. I see 3.5 at minus
Oh,
115.
great! I feel good about that. Yeah,
But I was going
I
to
feel
say,
good about 3.5.
when Jokic comes off the floor in the second quarter, the team sucks because they're
Yep,
awful when Jokic is off the floor.
I think
So
it's like they have one of the best. Like Jokic has one of the best point differentials when he's on the court versus off the court, where they're like one of the worst in the league.
I think he has the biggest plus minus for his,
Yeah,
and number two is Caldwell Pope because he only plays with Jokic. But Jokic plays like 10, 11 minutes in the first quarter every game.
so I
So
know how. Oh my bad.
I was going to say I'm on Denver first quarter. That's really the only thing I'm
Yeah,
tempted by in this game first spread.
only thing for Denver, I'm all over Indiana plus 11, but because look, okay, I get it. Denver has the best home court in the league. They've won the most games. But if we look at these last 3 games,
The spread isn't great.
you have a 3-point win at home against Orlando. You have a 4-point win at home against Minnesota.
They choked a massive lead in that Orlando game, by the way.
Yeah, like, and they even, I mean, yeah, they have a 9-point win against Portland, but they had a massive lead in that game too. Like, they
And
let Portland come back
Denver's
in that one.
15-9 at home against the spread, which is still good,
But
but that
it's
means they're
like,
6 games worse.
yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, I get that they don't lose many, but they don't look like they haven't looked very, very good in these past 3 games at home. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm calling now. I think they lose one of these 2 games at home, whether it's tonight against Indiana or when they're a massive favorite against OKC.
I think it's OKC. OKC's been good lately, man. I think OKC is going to beat Denver.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I think it's OKC. I mean, I think OKC's winning that game. By the way, I know we're not
No,
going to
so
cover
do
that
I.
because
That's
it's
what I'm
on
saying.
Sunday, but I think OKC's going to win that game, which is why I'm
I love
hesitant
that
to.
OKC team.
Which is why I'm hesitant to say Indiana plus 440 tonight,
Yeah.
because I think OKC is going to win the next one.
Because they're not losing both. You're just expecting Denver to lose one.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. I may end up saying it at the end of the show, but I think Indiana's in this game. I don't think anybody's giving Indiana a shot in this one, and they are one of the best teams against the spread this season at what's that, 26-20. One of the best teams ATS on the season. They're 19-15 as an underdog. I don't know, man. I gotta look up what they do when they get double digits, but I feel like Indiana covers at a high clip.
I'm just going to put it this way. This feels like a tremendous Matherin game.
Yes, I like Matherin today, and I like Nimhard to get that double double that I've been looking for. I've been waiting
We're
for it,
waiting
and I've been
for it.
looking for it. Yeah, I've been waiting for it, looking for it. I've been playing it. Hopefully today's the day, but I think Matherin has a good game, and I think this is the day that Nimhard gives me that double double because
I
he
think
looked
I'm
really good
concerned about
offensively last time.
I'm concerned about the Nemhard double-double because they're giving McConnell a bunch of minutes and he has the ball in his hands a lot for a point guard that can't shoot.
Mhm.
So I think the Nemhard one's tricky because McConnell does kind of handle most of the point guard responsibility,
But
but it's
I think
decent price.
that
It's good price though.
I think that you'll get a jump start, and maybe you want to play a Nimhard assist in the first quarter. I know that they be having those kind of bets out there.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I think you'll get a jump start on it. Like if you told me that we're coming out of the first quarter, he already has 5 assists, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Not at all.
By the way, Jokic triple doubles plus 115. Really, plus 115 is so absurd.
All right.
All right.
He's on over. I'm on under actually.
Okay.
It's really high. It's really high. Next game on the slate, we have the Utah Jazz at home welcoming the Brooklyn Nets on a back-to-back. Jazz are laying 7.5, opened up at 6. 229.5 is the total. Not really going to have much on the injury report here. We'll see if TJ Warren plays because they do have a TBD here by his name, and you think he does have that foot injury. So they may actually pull him from the lineup. We'll see. Pretty clean for Utah. Yeah, Brooklyn plus 7.5. Brooklyn on the money line.
I just roasted the crap out of the Nets to start the podcast, but I'm taking them plus the points in this game.
Ben Simmons
like
double-double in a win. Ben Simmons double-double in a win. I feel like that's juiced.
Can I
Give me
take
that.
double-double if I'm afraid he's going to score less than 5 points?
No, because I feel good about him getting the assist and the rebounds. That's why I said double double and not. I strategically said double double and not triple double.
Yeah, but
I
then
feel
you're
good
relying.
about him getting the rebounds and the assists.
I mean, if you're betting double double and you're not going to get points, like
It's
that's
Ben
so
Simmons.
rough.
It's Ben Simmons. Matter of fact, because I'm such a degen, let me
I'm going
just
to see
go
what the
ahead.
triple double is.
Uh,
Doesn't exist. Okay, great. They have triple
so,
double prices for Kyrie, but not for Ben Simmons. Thanks a lot, guys.
all right, let's see here. Ben. I don't see Ben
That's
on
what I'm
the
saying. I
props.
don't see
No,
Simmons
they
for
just
Ben.
don't have Ben's on the prop. Like,
They don't
period.
either. Yeah.
All right, whenever it comes up, just entertain me because this points prop is probably going to be at what 9.5, maybe 10.5 with KD out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 8.5. If I had to
Eight and a
guess.
half. Okay, so I mean, even that. Entertain me with this. Ben Simmons 10 plus assists. Ben Simmons 10 plus rebounds. Under alts 9.5 points.
That's fun. That's fun.
Entertain me with that.
Okay, that's fun.
Man, what a call.
I
What a
like that
call.
idea, but I'm gonna go with the Nets here. To go back to the point, Utah is laying a decent number. The Nets, even though they lost the game, they showed resolve. They were getting their ass kicked, and they actually kind of showed up in the second half. Maybe that built some confidence. It's mostly the fact that the Nets, I've mentioned it time and time on the show, this team is incredible on Friday nights. I don't know
Is it
why. I
oh,
don't
yeah,
know
it is
why.
Friday.
I don't
I
know
forgot about
why
that.
this team is so good on Fridays, but they're so good on Fridays. I think that it's going to be a competitive game. Utah really finds a way to make games competitive because offensively they're amazing, but defensively they suck.
Mhm.
I think you could see a block party between Claxton and Kessler, which will be a lot of fun between those two guys. But
Mhm.
assuming the Nets don't bench half the team, if they do bench Warren, I'll be all over Cam Thomas props. I think it's a great Cam Thomas game.
Mhm.
I'm going to go with the Nets, though. The spread seems a little bit large. I'll go with the Nets.
All right. I mean, well, I didn't. I
Seven and a
don't care.
half with Utah
I
is a
you're.
bit much.
I think the spread is a little bit large. I don't care if Utah was laying one. What? I wouldn't care if Utah's laying one. I'm not taking them as a favorite. Come on now. Plus 7.5, plus 250. I'm on the over. 229.5. I'm on over. Next game on the slate, we have the Memphis Grizzlies going to play the Los Angeles Lakers in LA. Great Lakers are catching 7.5 at home against the Grizzlies. 243.5. They're just they're just tossing these Laker lines out the window,
By
man.
the way, did you hear the news for this game?
What news?
LeBron's questionable.
Oh, bro, I'm getting there. All right, you
No, he's
for the
questionable
Memphis
every game. That's
Grizzlies.
why I'm joking. He's questionable every game and he plays. It's a waste of time.
Memphis Grizzlies, Zaire Williams is questionable with an illness. And for the Lakers, like you said, LeBron is questionable.
Every game is questionable.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, you're not going to see Walker, Reeves, or Davis. Okay.
Do you want to make a case for the Lakers stepping up at
I
home?
No, I don't. I was hoping you would.
No,
I
absolutely not.
I have no. I just think that what I will say is that the Lakers have done a decent job of surprising me in some spots, not all spots, but some spots that I just gave them zero shot for. But I mean, it's the Grizzlies, man. It's the
I
Grizzlies against
just
the what?
I just saw the Lakers lose at home to a team without Sabonis. I watched it. I watched the game. They were awful in the second half. The game was close. Then you had the clear path foul at the end, and things got weird. Westbrook and Beverly took a couple threes in the fourth quarter, which was just so dumb. LeBron took another crappy fadeaway 3-pointer down the stretch, which he bricked, and that kind of decided the game. I'm on the Grizzlies. They matched up really well against the Lakers. The Lakers stink. I'm expecting the Grizzlies to win the rebounding battle by what, like 15 in this game? Who on the Lakers are going to out rebound or even hang with Steven Adams on the glass? They got nobody. I think
What I
Memphis
will
wins the
say,
rebounds by 15.
what I will say, and it's really the only stat that is concerning me with Memphis.
Is it the money?
No, it's not the money. Well, the money is interesting. It is because it's all on Memphis, but Memphis sometimes gets over that. They are 9-15-1 against the Western Conference.
That's ATS we're talking about, right?
Yes, ATS.
Okay.
It is ATS. The only because you can't tie in the
Yeah.
game. Yeah, but the only thing that
I
makes
didn't
me
factor
throw
that in.
that out as well. Guess the Lakers' record against the Western
Can
Conference.
you tell me how many games at least?
Uh, it is math in public. 25 games.
Is there a push in there?
Yes, there is a push in there.
Okay. ATS, you said 25 games. I'll go 6-18-1.
No,
I thought it was a good guess. That felt good.
it was. Memphis was 9-15-1. The Lakers are 9-15-1
Okay.
against the Western
All right.
Conference. So
Okay. I took a
now,
jump shot, felt good, hit back rim. You know,
now
you live with
Lakers
those.
are catching points in the majority of those games, and Memphis is laying points in the majority of those games, but it's the same ATS record all the same. I'm still going Memphis. I don't care.
Once again, Sabonis didn't play last game, and Sacramento still out-rebounded the Lakers by like 12. The Lakers can't rebound because Davis is out. They have no backup centers. They have nobody really worth a damn in the front court now. You have Adams and you have Jackson and you have so many guys that you can just throw in the front court to give you a good rebounding edge. Ja is going to put on a show. I think we expect it. The Lakers aren't a great defensive team. They've been okay, but not great. I'm on Memphis. The Lakers are horrible.
Desmond Bain might go off just because he and Bron got into it a little bit last year. When you remember the clip where Bron is like, "Nah, stop that talking shit." Like y'all make a couple shots, started talking shit, and then he went down and dunked on Jaren Jackson Jr.
Oh no, that clip circulated, going like, yeah, remember that one time when LeBron did that? I'm like, yeah, the Grizzlies won the game by 30. Like you're not going to talk about that part. The Grizzlies literally won the game by 30 points. But I'm on Memphis. That team is so good, and they've won what 11 straight. They haven't lost in 2023 yet.
Yeah. Even won that game against the Cavaliers. Now that was an ugly game for sure, but they still got the win.
Yeah, shout out to Steven Adams for the putback layup.
Yep. All right. Last game of the slate. Oklahoma City Thunder are traveling to Sacramento to play the Sacramento Kings. The total. Let's see here. Injury report. We have pretty clean. Same outs, long-term outs for the Thunder. And for Sacramento Kings, Sabonis is questionable. Matthew Dellavedova is questionable. Did they all just get sick? Alex Lynn is questionable as well.
Yeah,
all three of them.
Sabonis has an illness, so I'm assuming he was hanging around and they got sick. It's not COVID.
And it looks like Sabonis, Dellavedova, and Alex Lynn all hang out and spend a bunch of time together. That's why they all got sick.
I forgot Dellavedova was still in the league. For the record,
no, I did too. No, it was what game was it where the Kings was playing and I was watching. I seen him on the bench and I said, "Oh, he's still here." Remember when LeBron got him a $30 million contract? Remember when LeBron got him a $30 million contract
because he was good for like 2 games against Curry?
Not even the whole playoffs, just one series, 2 games. That's it. All right.
That's how Mozgov got paid.
LeBron got, I was about to say, LeBron got Mozgov a contract. Like, y'all stop playing LeBron. LeBron got Tristan Thompson, Mozgov, Dellavedova. He got all of them contracts, yo.
J.R. Smith.
Yep. All right. Any case for Sacramento laying points at home when OKC is such a good road dog team?
I'm not doing it. The fact that Sabonis is still battling an illness, which means if he's healthy enough, he should play anyway. I do think there's less urgency to bring him back when you won a game without him anyway. So you might be more likely to sit him again until he feels 100%. I'm on the Thunder anyway. I love this team so much.
23-9 as an underdog this season.
Even in general,
23-9.
If you just watch them play the last couple of weeks, they're really clicking. The chemistry's there. I don't even just mean the social media jokes where you can tell that they love playing with each other and they're good friends. But still, I like how they played. And Williams,
what is this team with Holmgren?
It depends what you think of Holmgren.
What is this team with Holmgren in the lineup? I think he's solid. Now I'm interested to see him without playing basketball for a year and how he adjusted to NBA. I'm sure he's probably going to be in rookie of the year conversations next year.
He's in Ben Simmons rookie of the year contention. So
yeah, for sure. And Ben Simmons won it. So I mean, maybe we need to put a bet on that next year. But 23-9 as an underdog this season. First of all, both of these teams really, really good against the spread. OKC 29-16, Sacramento 25-18. Sacramento's 13-9 as a favorite, 12-11 at home. OKC 14-8 on the road. Last 10 games, OKC 8-2, 6-4 for Sacramento. Like both of these teams are on it. I'm taking the points. Give me OKC.
I'll tell you what, though, people are going to talk about, good coaches, and I've roasted a lot of coaches. I'm pretty harsh on coaches. I think that Daignault is one of the most underrated coaches in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hell of a coach for OKC.
I don't even think people. I think if you said his name and we weren't talking about this game, I don't think people would know who he coached.
I looked up the pronunciation just to make sure I didn't butcher it. That's how that's my version of not really knowing, but I know his name, of course. I just don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
People, I'm sure, would tell you, OKC, Shea, great talent, and then you look at the coach and you got to give him some credit. Like this team, even with Shea playing last year, was good ATS, and they sat him the entire second half. But I'm on the Thunder. Giddey's been great. Shea hasn't even needed to score 30 recently. He's been able to take a step back a little bit. Both Jalen Williamses have been good. I like
really
this team.
Jalen Jalen he's in rookie of the year conversation.
Yeah, he's in conversation. It's about a 2-second conversation.
Because it's really a 2-horse race. Like it's a 2-horse race, but he's right there next to. If you had a conversation between him and Jayden Ivey, that's a real conversation to have.
Him and Ivy, yes. I would still put Walker Kessler ahead of him if we're actually going to have a conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's actually the race. I think it's in order: Banchero, Mathurin, Williams, Ivy, Kessler.
I think Williams is behind Kessler.
No, I'm telling you, that's what the race is. Like what I saw on TV. That's actually what the race is. How they have it. 1 through 5 now. Everybody's got their own opinions or whatever, but that's actually how the NBA or whoever actually makes that list.
The ladder or whatever.
I'm very curious on who actually makes that list, but that's how the list is. And I'm not gonna lie, I get it. Like I get it. He's been really good. Like he's definitely a pleasant surprise.
No, I mean we've said it before. I'll say it again. I fuck with this team. This team's fun.
They're so fun. They've been fun for years. They've been fun for years. Like this is not the first time that they've been covering spread. They were covering the spread last year. I don't remember if it was the year before that as well, but definitely last year they were covering the spread a lot last year. So
yeah, but their point spread numbers were awful at the end for some years because they benched Shea for the last 3 months. But this team's a playing team. They might be better than that. They're good.
Yo, they're 22-23 right now. Like they're about to cash their win total before All-Star break. They covered the spread in one game to win. I don't know if they get the win, but they covered the spread in one game.
It is only 3. So the spread is quite manageable. I'm assuming if Sabonis is ruled active, it'll go up.
I think OKC has a good chance to win this outright.
I'm picking them to win outright. I'm just saying, I think the line goes up if Sabonis is going.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does. As soon as
if Sabonis is going to play, the line will go up. That's why it's probably a 3. They're pricing in the chance that he doesn't play. I like the Thunder anyway.
The pros are on Sacramento, though.
Okay.
59% of the bets, 89% of the money.
The pros need to watch more OKC film. That's what that tells me,
Yeah, man, I came back on this one, yo.
You think I'm going to fade Himothy? I'm not going against Giddey. Come on. Himothy?
Hemi Neutron.
I'm not going against him.
Hemi Neutron. All right. That's it. That's everything on the slate. Let's go ahead because I don't have another read. Lock and dog time to end the show. For my lock, I'm gonna go with no, the Lakers are good in the first half, so I don't want to do that one. My Memphis first half cash last time we were on.
Well, Memphis first half is usually a given, but it's especially true at home. So they're on the
road.
It's a bit different.
It's Cleveland first half versus Golden State coming off that. That sounds very chalky, but Cleveland should really do it. And Golden State 5.5. Oh, I thought it was going to be 4.5 though. Yeah, I got to go back to that Denver play, man. Give me Denver in the first quarter, -3.5. Indiana's so bad, so bad in the first quarter. It's really, really terrible. Give me the -3.5, and then I'll probably get on Indiana after that and take them at what? +14, 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah, it should be around there live.
Yeah, I'll get that live play, but give me Denver first quarter minus 3.5 for my dog. I have so many to choose from. I
Hmm.
love these days. All right.
I feel like you're going to take San Antonio if I had to guess.
San Antonio is a really juicy dog.
Well,
But San Antonio,
fading Utah's a system play, so I don't even know if you're going to
yeah,
give
no,
that up.
I can't do that one. That's not fair. Like, why would I give out a play that everybody's already betting? That's not fun. Uh, yeah, fuck it. I'll do it. I'll just stay in the same game. Fuck it. I'll do it because I don't care. Give me plus 440. They this I have not been impressed by this home trip by Denver, and I think they're going to get caught slipping. And yes, it's more likely to be OKC, but that's exactly what happens. The least likely thing happens. So yeah, give me Indiana plus 440. No
All right.
Halliburton, they get it done.
For me, it's actually kind of funny. I don't think we've ever done this all in the show before. We're going to double lock a quarter play.
All right.
I'm going to take Denver first quarter. We've talked about Indiana's struggles in the first quarter. Denver at home has been, especially in the first quarter, has been phenomenal. I think that they're going to jump out to an early lead. I'm not sure about the full game because Denver we've seen kind of struggle whenever Jokic is off the floor and defensively they fall off a cliff. But they're really good early in games, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a good spot for them. So I will go with Denver first quarter with you minus 3.5. For my dog, I have a couple options. I could go for maybe a double double somewhere, something like that. But I'm going to go with OKC. I love this team so much. This team is just clicking. They're playing great basketball. Sacramento, I still love as a team as well. I was on their win total over before the season started, and right now I believe they're in the 3 seed spot. But Sabonis might not play, and I'm not going to overreact to them beating the Lakers. That game was competitive. I don't think the Lakers are good. But the Thunder, I like how they've played. I don't think anybody on either team can stay with Fox or Shea, so they
Mm-hmm.
cancel each other out. Giddy's been great. Jalen Williams has been great. I like this overall form the team's in, and Sacramento might be shorthanded. As much as I love the beam, they're going to have to put it on hold. The beam's out of order tonight. I'm going with the Thunder money line.
I'm so glad I didn't go Thunder because we would have had the exact same picks.
But
I,
I
w-
have to go with the Thunder. I love how
I
this team has
pivoted
played so
to
far.
Indiana just because I was banking on you taking the Thunder.
I really thought you'd go San Antonio.
No, I'm there, but it just seems like whenever I make them my dog, they never get the win outright, and I want the people to enjoy that sweet cash, so I'm not going to do it.
So are you going with a potential round robin money line parlay
Oh
with
yes, round
Pacers,
robin money line
Spurs, and
party,
Thunder?
Pacers, Spurs, and
Thunder?
OKC,
Yeah.
100%. If you get
Do you
Pacers
throw
and
you throwing the Nets in
OKC,
there or no?
yeah, oh yeah, so 14 money line round robin parlay, Pacers, Spurs, Nets, and who did I say? Thunder.
Thunder. Yeah.
You get any two of those, and you're sitting pretty nice.
Yeah.
Before we go, Ben Matherin, 30, 10 for 17, 6 for 9 last time they played Denver. So
I mean,
this
total's
should be a play
239 and
day.
a half. We both think it's a Matherin game.
Yeah, this should
30
be.
plus points. They don't even have Matherin listed, which sucks. Matherin 25 plus, by the way, is plus 550.
That's why they don't have it listed because it got too high. And once they don't show anybody's props for points when it gets over 6-1 anymore.
I'm just saying I don't really I think they'll occasionally show it for like 7-1 or higher for like 40 for superstars, but 25 plus for Matherin at 550, you can even be safe with it. If you want to take 20 points, Matherin's plus 170.
Yeah, no, I think he's gonna go off. All right, before we end the show, I had to talk about the Giants. I just saved it to the end of the show in case nobody wanted to hear about football on a NBA podcast. But look, Scott, I'm feeling a lot better. Like I know we just recorded the NFL gambling podcast. Make sure y'all go check that out. We did Saturday games. I'm feeling a lot better
You felt good to
because
begin with.
yeah, I did, and I'm feeling a lot better. Like, huh.
Now, was there anything
Did,
to make you feel better because it's closer, or because you
I
saw
think
them
I
dance? You saw
so
them dancing in practice, and you liked the playlist.
Oh no. So first of all, RIP Bankroll Fresh. RIP Bankroll Fresh. That when they pulled that out, I was like, "Oh, I ain't heard that joint
Oh,
in
that
a
was
minute."
definitely
I
like
was,
a whoop that trick
hey,
moment. I'm
hey,
just
I was
saying.
like, "Oh, I ain't heard no
It was a
bankroll in a
whoop that
minute."
trick moment. That's why I'm asking.
But I do think that we can win the battle in the trenches. The offensive line has to be the MVP of the game. But when I'm sitting there and I'm going back watching other games, I'm really not terrified of Darius Slay in this game.
Now, Slay's been underratedly bad the last month or
Yeah.
so.
And it's like, I don't know. When you catch him in phase, you have a very good chance of at least the very least getting the completion. Now, when he plays out of phase, then he normally makes a really good play on the ball. But in phase, and that's what the Giants receivers do a lot, like short in phase catches, be able to keep the ball moving. I think that we can get something. Like I think you can't be afraid to attack Darius Slay.
That's
I wouldn't
crossing
attack
crossing
Bradbury at
patterns,
all.
stuff like
Don't
that.
attack
But
Bradbury at all. Bradbury is going to make us look foolish, and it's a revenge game angle. And
I
all,
mean,
no,
you know that I gave out Slayton receiving yards over, so I was already
yeah,
kind of
and
on that
so
boat.
and I was thinking about that because you said it. I was thinking about it. I said, man, like, is Scott right? Is there? And I'm like, man, there's
It's
really more
44
of
and
a
a half.
possibility.
Like that's a low number.
But there was one play in particular on fourth down in week 14, and I was watching the play, and they threw it up to Devonta Smith. He ends up catching the ball, taking it into the end zone. But the safety had the opportunity to make a pick because the ball sits up there. It sat in the air.
Mm.
And Jalen Hurts' ball sit in the air a lot. And so I'm like, man, if that was Xavier McKinney, that's a pick. Like that is a pick. I'm betting. I'm finding a book and I'm betting McKinney, and I'm gonna bet Love too because he's the other safety up there. If the Giants win, they're gonna get turnovers. It's got to be getting turnovers. That's how the game was close between the Commanders. That's how the game was close between the Bears for the Eagles. They
That's how
kept
the Week
turning the ball
18 game
over.
was close because Hurts had that interception in the
Yeah,
second half
and
and whatever.
yeah, I'm telling you, he's gonna sit in the pocket a little bit more. He's gonna question running. He's gonna make this half second thought of running because I almost think that they are telling him don't always take off. Like you don't always have to take off. And I think that half second is gonna be enough for Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Lujoare. Now we have Leonard Williams. So you talked about people are talking about, oh, Miles Sanders is going to have another big game, blah, 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 blah. All these Martin Sanders is going to have a really good game. Leonard Williams is a really good run stopper. He's top 10 in terms of run rate for defensive tackles.
By the way, if you were curious, Hurts to throw a pick in this game is plus 120.
Well, go ahead and make that bet while we're on,
Just
people.
throwing that out there.
He's throwing a pick.
I like the interception too because Hurts has played one playoff game in his career and he sucked. Like I think he's going to make a mistake. Once again, he's barely played since the injury, so
Yeah.
interception plus 120, I don't mind.
I think that they're not going to be in a situation this time around like they were in week 14 where they were able to run the ball so much because they had a lead. And then they were getting success. I don't think they're going to get success running the ball with the running backs. I think more success is going to come with Jalen Hurts. I'm actually intending on playing Daniel Jones to be the leading rusher in the entire game. Just as he's probably going to be really big plus money because you have Saquon. Everybody thinks that Miles Sanders is going to have a good game. You still have Jalen Hurts on the other side. Like it's at least three people that are going to be above him in terms of price.
Yeah,
I'm telling y'all
I
right
think
now,
Daniel Jones has a good shot to go for 70 plus yards.
I think he could be. I really do think he could be the lead rusher for the game. Even though I do think Saquon has a really good game, it just takes like one crazy big run, and Daniel Jones is going to have a huge edge over Saquon. But
yeah,
oh man, all right. I'm not gonna. I had more to say, but I'm not gonna do it. Like we've been here long enough. We still got to get the podcast
if you
out.
want
I
the
already
rest, watch the NFL show.
Yeah. Oh, come to the pregame show. Wait for the pregame show for sure. I'm gonna be up there. You're gonna hear a lot more, and I'm gonna be talking my shit because I'll probably be drunk. All right, everybody. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, make sure you do that. NBA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you leave us a review on Spotify and Apple, and just have a great weekend. Because I know I will. Because we're going to win, and we are going to the NFC Championship game. And if we're not, nobody say anything about it on Monday because I will literally close my laptop and be done.
Well, I'm not on the show Monday, so you don't have to worry about me.
Oh, dang. So I got to tell Munaf. All right. Because Munaf will say something. Then I'll actually close my
Well,
laptop and
I
let
thought
him
you were
finish
telling
on
the
the go.
chat box. I didn't think you were actually talking to me.
Oh, no. No. I'm telling chatbots too. I will close my laptop and go home. Okay. Well, I'm already home, but I will close my laptop and not speak for the rest of the show. Because I will be pissed. We're a 7.5-point underdog, and I feel like we should be like even money. Like that's how confident I feel in my guys. All right. That's enough of the show. That's enough of us talking. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. Just gonna end the podcast like this. Walk into your trap, take over your trap. Fuck Philly. We're out of here.